Well, g'day curd nerds. I'm Gavin Weber and welcome to Ask the Cheeseman, where I sit here in the chair of cheesy wisdom and answer all of your questions about home cheese making. So Stephanie asks, what exactly separates the flavours of cheese from the rest? It seems every type of cheese is made from the same cultures and rennet, and basically all are made the same way. So what is it that makes cheddar cheddar, Gouda Gouda, and what makes Colby Colby? Well, Stephanie, I'm glad you asked. It may seem like that in the beginning, but as you start to make cheese, you start to begin to notice subtle differences. For all of the cheeses, there are, for those three different cheeses, there are subtle well, let me just go through them. How about we do it that way? Okay, so for each of those three cheeses, there are different starting temperatures. Each cheese has a different acidification time, and therefore they have different renneting times as well. Because the more acidic the milk is, the less renneting time you need to curdle the milk, or to make the milk separated into curds and whey. Then there's the way that we process the cheese. All three have their curds cut about the same sort of size, but that's where it changes for all three of them. So cheddar is stirred the longest, and therefore the curd size shrinks, and it is the driest cheese of the three. Also, it is then drained and the curd slab itself is cheddared. And that's a process where the slab of cheese is turned multiple times over the course of a few hours, and then that actually creates the texture of the cheese. Gouda has its curd washed twice with hot water to bring down the acid content of the curds, and then that's drained. And then Colby is stirred but not for a very long time, and then the curd is washed once with warm water, and then that's drained. So after the cheddaring process for cheddar, that's milled or broken into small pieces, then it's salted, and then it's heavily pressed for up to 24 hours, where Gouda is then drained and then pressed for about 12 hours, but it's about half the pressure of cheddar, and then that's salted via a brine bath, so it's floated in salty water to be salted, so totally different. Colby, the curds are milled, salted, and then pressed heavily for only 12 hours. So there's a difference there again. So then we get on to aging. So aging is different as well. So cheddar can be aged from as little as 3 months for a very mild cheddar, all the way up to 18 months to 2 years. I've seen some cheddars as well, where they have a very strong and sharp bite to them. Gouda can be aged as little as 6 weeks, all the way up to 10 months. And then Colby can be ready as little as 2.5 months, and can be aged about up to a year for a quite strong, Colby. So there you go. Even though the basic ingredients are exactly the same, the cheeses actually turn out quite differently because we treat them differently during the cheese making process. Now, I can attest to this because I've made all of those three, as you've seen in the videos, and they are vastly different in taste to each other. Now, thanks for a very interesting question, Stephanie. So the next question is from Butterfly Girly, and I assume it's a lady. So Butterfly Girly asks, I have a question. You say use 3.25 whole milk. All I can ever find is 3.25 homogenized milk. Is it the same thing? Also, I wanted to say thanks so much to you for all these videos. I've always wanted to make my own cheese, but could never find classes that ran at a convenient time. So I really appreciate all your effort. Thanks so much. Well, thank you very much, Butterfly Girly. I do my best. In answer to your question, yes, it is the same thing. However, let me just talk about milk. 3.25% fat milk is called standardized milk. And it's a bit of a phenomenon in US and Canada. Here in Australia, standardised milk is about 3.4% milk, fat in our milk. But it's kind of treated the same. So what they do is they take cow's milk from many, many dairies and they mix it all together so it loses its uniqueness. So the uniqueness to that dairy, they all had different flavours. And then what they do is they pasteurise it, homogenise it, skim off some of the cream at one point there somewhere, and they get the total fat content down to a standard over the batch of thousands of litres, down to 3.25% for North America and 2.4% here in Australia. So the cream that they've skimmed off, basically what they do with that is they use that for butter, or they sell it as cream, so thickened cream. Here in Australia, what they do with thickened cream is they make the wateriest cream and they thicken it with, what's the stuff called? Gelatine. So they add gelatine to the cream as a thickener and call it thickened cream. There's only one or two creams on the market that are actually proper, just thickened creams that are about 38% cream, 38% fat creams. The rest are all thickened with gelatin, and you cannot make cheese making products out of them. They're very hard to make into cheese products like mascarpone, add to things like Stilton, or make into double bries and stuff like that. You've got to get pure cream to do that. So it makes it difficult here in Australia. Then they sell the rest of the stuff, as I mentioned, the 3.25 or whatever's left over, as whole milk. And really, it's not whole milk at all. Real cow's milk is about 3.6 to 4.2% fat, depending on the breed of the cow. So essentially, due to standardised milk, we're all being ripped off some of the fat in the milk. Even though they say that saturated fat in the form of cream and that sort of stuff's not good for us, for thousands and thousands of years humans have been consuming it. You know, I'm not dead yet, even though I've got a little bit of a belly, but that's not from cheese, it's probably from beer and wine, but that I drink with the cheese. But yeah, look, everything in moderation. I think it's our choice whether we want fattier milk or not, and it certainly tastes creamier and it tastes better, I reckon. Anyway, thanks for your question, Butterfly Girly. The next question is from Terry Lambert, and Terry asks, Wildest Cheese in London makes Cheester Eggs, and Cheester Eggs are a play on words for cheese and Easter, hence the word Cheester Eggs, and in the shape of an Easter egg. So they put the curds into a plastic egg cup. How does this work? They don't press them, and it seems to be a hard cheese. Or how do they press it or did they press it and then break it up before they put it into the egg? Well, thanks, Terry. I've done some further research. I answered you via email, but I've done some further research on this. And I had a look at Facebook and I had a look at a few videos and I actually found one on YouTube. And it is actually a proper cheese. It looks a bit like Cheshire or Wensleydale, the style of cheese they've made. And they put it into, so they mill it, they've salted it, and then at the stage where they would normally put it into a press and then press it, it looks like a medium pressing. It's not a real heavy press like a cheddar. It would probably be Wensleydale, Cheshire, Lancashire, that style of cheese. And they put it into an egg-shaped plastic mould, and they seem to squish it down just manually with hand pressure. And they don't really say what they do with the process after that. It looks like they can, it shapes by itself, just gravity. It looks like from what I can tell by the mold development on the outside of that cheese, it looks like it's developed for about 1 or maybe even 2 months. You know, it could even be, you know, something like a Caerphilly, of all things. And certainly from what I've seen, you look at the rind development, the ones that I've seen cut open, and they certainly do look like Caerphilly. The rind is thick and yellow, but the inside paste of the cheese is basically white and creamy. So it actually does look a bit like an Easter egg, but made of cheese. Anyway, so check out the video. Have a look at the information button that's just popped up there, and there'll be a YouTube video there, and you'll see how they made the Cheester Eggs, for want of a better word. Interesting question. Thank you very much, Terry. I enjoyed doing the research on that one. Okay, finally a bit of video news. If you didn't know already, I actually run 2 other YouTube channels. One's a personal lifestyle channel, which is not, I don't post to it too regularly. It's called The Greenie and Gavin. It's about things that happen around here. It's about our chickens and how I grow vegetables, and it's also got some of the television appearances that I've been on national television here in Australia. Not so much to do with cheese, a little bit of cheese in there, but not too much. I stick most of that stuff on this channel here, of course. And then we've got our business YouTube channel, and that's the one I want to talk about, the Little Green Workshops one. Now what I've been doing is we're starting to post up soap making tutorials. So anybody who's interested in homesteading and stuff like that, we're using cold process method to make soap over there. So I'm starting to publish soap making videos on a weekly basis. So if you want to check those out, I'm going to pop one of those into the end card of this video, so you can check out some of our creations there. They're made in the same sort of style as the cheese making video tutorials. So hopefully you'll check those out if you are interested in how to make soap. The patron of the week is Michael Whitney. Thanks for your support, Michael. Greatly appreciated. If you would like to support the channel like Michael so I can make new and interesting cheese content, then please pledge your support via Patreon over here. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. If you like the channel, then don't forget to subscribe over here and hit that bell to be reminded when I release each and every cheesy video. Thanks for watching, Curd Nerds, and I'll see you next time.